This research has three purposes: to find a component related to transit-oriented development taught in New South Wales legislation, to improve that component, to propose implementation of thought zone in Sydney by providing supporting arguments for compact city. Thought could be defined as a human-centered compact land use purpose for high mobility, high socio-economic impacts, affordability, and sustainability in safe neighborhoods that are planned for walking and bicycling. To find that component, I looked into standard instruments, principal local environmental plan, and I found land use table. There is no zone for thought. One of the zone is Zone R4 high density. Zone R4 is high density, but it is not high enough for thought. Zone R4 is defined clearly, but not defined with high rise. Maybe Zone R4 is not intended for high rise. That means there is no high rise, high density in Sydney. Even if there are, the height limit is not sufficient. Affordable housing and thought need both high-rise and high-density residential that can mix with any other land use such as commercial, education, culture, and so on. Another thing is transit-oriented design principles. Only 2 councils implemented them. Other councils have not. They have not because they cannot. The legislation favors low-density population. Compared with other cities, Sydney's population density is very low. Legislations restrict conditions that are necessary for a compact city. Despite many tall buildings having built taller than 200-meter high, Sydney does not allow tall residential buildings in the suburbs. Sydney has anti-skyscraper law that limits height to be under 45.72 meters. The legislation intends to provide affordable housing. It says local housing strategies should consider options to deliver more diverse and affordable housing, align growth with existing and future infrastructure, provide better access to jobs, services and open space, and enhance local character. However, none of its 35 land use zones seem to provide affordable housing. So I have to say, a good policy must not aim, but also provide conditions for affordability. New South Wales should create thought zone with policies and mechanisms for affordable housing. Affordable housing needs very tall buildings for compact land use. I found other countries have thought zone. Thought zone is an official land use zone. New Delhi has many thought zones along its arterial road networks. The Ministry of Urban Development defines thought zone as: thought zone is a new land use category which allows flexible and mix of various possible uses with the exception of polluting and potentially hazardous uses. Delhi has a maximum density of 2,000 persons per hectare, strictly pedestrian dominated, no low density housing, low rise development, allow developers to construct mixed use in influence zone as per thought norms. Thought zone needs high density persons per hectare to allow high rise and vertical travel, 3,000 to 500 people per hectare, or 1,000 to 1,200 dwellings per hectare for each thought is desirable to supply affordable housing. I propose thought zone for Sydney. It will improve the legislation and Sydney urban land use. It will provide conditions for sustainability and low emission economy. Thought zones can be implemented along transit corridors, such as Victoria Road. So the key findings are: New South Wales does not have plans for thoughts, extremely low population density, no land use zone for transit-oriented development and land use table, Sydney's tallest buildings exceed height limit, major cities have thought zones, Delhi's transit corridors could be applicable to Sydney.